The Prowler is an early 80s slasher flick directed by Joseph Zito, the same guy who brought us, arguably, the best Friday the 13th sequel, The Final Chapter. Unfortunately, this earlier film isn't nearly as iconic or as fun as that. It's about a soldier returning from World War II who gets rebuffed by his girlfriend and then kills her during a graduation dance. 35 years later, the same high school decides to put on another graduation dance which previously had been banned by a guy named Major Chatham who has recently suffered several strokes and now rarely leaves his house. Then, unexpectedly, kids start getting killed off again, just like all those years ago, and it's up to Deputy Sheriff Mark London and his girlfriend Pam McDonald to try and stop the killer. The Prowler starts off surprisingly strong. The effects were done by horror legend Tom Savini, and the first 20 minutes or so are well made, with some kills that are surprisingly visceral and even somewhat disturbing. My favorite is this annoying jock guy who gets a knife through the top of his head. Ooh! He takes forever to die, and the shock is so much for him that his eyes roll back into his head. It's also got a really cool-looking killer who's a guy dressed from head to toe in US Army fatigues with a creepy mask. Early on, as the teens are setting up the dance, there's a lot of badass shots of the guy suiting up like he's in an 80s action flick. Unfortunately, after about the first 20 minutes, the movie becomes stagnant, filling its time with endless scenes of wandering around and talking. See this? I hope you like that, because that's about 80% of the movie. There are a few kills in between, but they're just generic throat slashings, a real waste of Tom Savini's talent. Farley Granger is in it from Rope and Strangers on a Train, and so is Lawrence Tierney from Reservoir Dogs and Born to Kill, but they both have almost no screen time, and I don't even think Lawrence Tierney has any speaking lines. There are a few unintentionally funny moments. For example, once it's been established that there's a killer on the loose, a teacher announces it in front of the whole dance, telling them that they should stay inside and wait until the guy is apprehended. She then adds for them to enjoy the dance, and everyone goes back to what they were doing. If there was a murderous prowler on the loose, wouldn't they evacuate the school? It doesn't matter, it's just a device to get more kids killed. There's supposed to be some underlying mystery as to who the killer is and how he's related to the original murders back in 1945, but there's no surprises and no real reason for there to be a mystery in the first place, because the movie explicitly explains to us in the very beginning that an ex-GI received a letter where his girlfriend broke up with him. And to be honest, if you can't figure out who it is within the first 30 minutes, you're kinda stupid. But you don't need to, because I'm gonna ruin it anyway! The ending is by far the best part of the movie. It's classic. The girl's trapped in a secluded place being chased by a faceless killer. She's hiding under tables, trying to close doors on him. It's great. And then there's what is probably the absolute funniest scene in the movie. Right as Pam is about to be killed, a random fat guy who we saw running a store earlier in the movie bursts in with a shotgun and blows the killer away. Boom! And then this happens. Did they just fall in love? What the fuck is going on? But then... when I saw this part, I laughed out loud. I guess they were trying to trick us into making it seem like a triumphant, climactic scene, but with the way the actors play it with those sultry come-hither looks, it makes it seem more like there's about to be some penis prowling around. But it isn't over. The Prowler wrestles with Pam only to have his mask taken off to reveal that he's Farley Granger, the sheriff. All this time, the sheriff had been the jilted lover, vowing revenge on the woman who wronged him. Who cares? He tries to shoot her, but his weakened state gives Pam enough strength to turn the gun around to his chin and... kablooey! Damn, this is one gratuitous, gory head explosion. Probably one of the best I've seen in a horror movie. With that, we're treated to a lame final shock scene where the corpse of the jock douche from earlier reaches out for Pam, and then the movie ends. If you're looking for a cheesy 80s horror movie to sit around and laugh at with your friends, The Prowler is not it. It's got some good kills and a cool killer, but it's just too slow and unoriginal to be worth anyone's time. I can't recommend it.